to another edition of the podcast. Today we're going to be covering skills for long-term success. And these skills that we're going to be discussing today is management skills, marketing skills, sales skills, and money making skills, money management skills. So when you're starting a business and you're going from employee um, or coming out of college, you never really get to develop these skills. You don't learn these skills, most of the skills in like everyday life. You don't run across them, especially if you never had access to like the inner workings of a business, the inner how the things go on behind the scenes, how things really work. You never get access to these skill sets. So when we get out here and we start to build our businesses and start to create, our businesses, our home care services, or whether it be, assisted living business, whatever you're working towards, I feel like there's a lot of skills that you just don't know that you don't have. You don't know what you don't know. And some of the things that I've had to study, go back after I already started my company. I had to go learn I had to go back and learn some of these basic skills and basic principles to maintain the success that we've already had, and to create build on top of the momentum we had already created, and just to take a take it further, but then also just to maintain what we had already developed. I felt like there were certain things that I was doing that, because I lacked the skills and the understanding of certain principles, basic business principles, that I was making a lot of mistakes. So I had to go back, do some studying, do some reading, and then kind of just look at some of the things I've done, and the mistakes I've made in the past to, become better, address these things, and become a better entrepreneur and a better business owner, a better employer, a better boss, if you want to call it that, um, a better salesperson, better marketing person, and better money management skills. Like these are the top four things that I feel like every entrepreneur who's starting a business early on should to focus on and develop. Management skills. Some of the things that I had to learn early on about management was setting the standards up front, like laying down exactly what we expect from our employees early, up front, and taking notes when things weren't said, but they might come up later, so I can use that thing, get that information back to the person who comes behind, like the newer person. I learn from the things that I've already done, so we don't make the mistakes over again. With setting the standards up front and say, like, for example, if you get a caregiver and they're constantly late, and these are some of the things you're going to always run into. Caregivers are going to be tardy. And, you have to set a standard up front before, this stuff starts happening, because you dealt with it before. You hear me now telling you that this is going to be one of the issues that you're going to be facing. So you have to, address it before it happens. This is the consequence of being late the first time. This is the consequence of being late the second time. This is the consequence of being late the third time, so on and so forth. There has to be an early, upfront standard created with your employees, with your staff, and the people who you're going to work for. I mean, who are going to be working for you. But then also you have to keep maintaining standards for yourself as well. Create standards for yourself, because you are the cultural leader of your business in the beginning. Like everybody is gonna they're gonna mimic your behavior. If you want them to be working hard, going the extra mile, you have to be working hard. They have to see you working hard for them. They have to see you working hard for the client. They have to see you going the extra mile for the clients. Um, so that's how you kind of start to develop in a culture. But you definitely want to start setting standards up front, and also another thing that you want to be thinking about, as far as from the management perspective, is developing systems. You have to begin to look at everything and how everything is operating in your office, in your marketing, in your, in your recruitment of clients and caregivers, and you needed to start developing systems. Because what's going to happen is, if you stick to it, you stay consistent, you're going to grow. And you can't do everything forever. In the beginning, I understand that, you're the only person, it's a one man show. Usually, it's not always the case, but usually in the beginning, it's one person getting a business started. And you're trying to do everything. You have to do everything because you don't have any help, or you can't afford to hire help in the beginning. But why in what you're doing, what you have to do and begin to do very early on is create systems in your business. And for example, we have what we call was a system that I created, which is the meaningful relationship development system. I also have a system for my signs going out. They get delivered to a certain place. They get picked up to a certain place. They get put out in exact locations. Um, they're held accountable by taking pictures of the signs. And it's systematic. I don't have it's like clockwork. And I don't to for all I have to do is take a get if this sign person doesn't want to work, I could remove him and plug in another person in the system. If this and just explain it to him, walk it through the system, and then it works like clockwork. If our community liaison leaves, or she's no longer interested in the position, we have a system in place for meaningful relationship development. So we teach them exactly how many calls to make, the expectation on calls to make, the expectations on how many emails should be going out, the expectation on how how many office visits you should be making a week, um, the expectation on how many presentations we want you to be given a week at, senior in the senior community. There's accountability. We need documentation for everybody you visit, every phone call, everything that's being done should be documented. When you're going on meetings and when you're talking to actual referral sources, people who can decision makers, there should be notes from that conversation so we know how to approach um, that particular referral source in future engagements, whether it be conversation, letters, emails, etc. So I'm just giving you guys some examples of things that need to be, systems that need to be set up so your business can operate without you actually being there. Because there's this system. It's just not like, free fall, freestyling. It's actual things that get done on a consistent basis every day, every week, every month, and it has to be productive. It has to be things that produce money, things that produce sales, things that produce, signed contracts with clients, things that produce, that bring in good caregivers. You have to have a system. You can create systems. We have systems for creating, for recruitment, for getting new caregivers in. So you just want to really start thinking in systems terms, instead of, just going through your day, not really paying attention to what you're doing. You're getting stuff done, but you're not really paying attention to the step-by-step process. And it's kind of hard to start thinking in them terms in the beginning, because you're just not used to thinking about life in that specialized focused way. But once you start doing it, then you'll start to see systems in everything you do, and it makes everything a lot more easier to manage and also to replicate. Systems are put in place so they can be easily replicated when you need to hire new people and put them in that position. So definitely think about systems when you're thinking about, developing these management skills, rewarding good behavior. You have to reward people and recognize people for their efforts and for good behavior. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be money wise. You're going to, there's multiple different ways that you can show your appreciation besides just giving somebody a few dollars or a gift card, or just some of the stuff that you hear in the beginning that you feel like you know uh, people are doing for their employees or their caregivers. Simple, text message saying, "Hey, we really we see your efforts. We appreciate your efforts. The client, is very satisfied, and we just want to say thank you. We want to, that's just a simple, a simple way to reward their good behavior, their yeah, you want to reward the good behavior, and not necessarily have to be in a financial way. And then there's the flip side to it, addressing company violations. How do you address company violations? You have to, again, set up systems. You want to make sure you document everything. Tardiness, um, phone use at a client's house, like excessive phone use. These are some of the issues that you're going to hear the clients complain about. Um, Phone use or caregivers contacting the client directly. Now, the caregiver should never be reaching out to your client. They shouldn't have your client's phone number. They shouldn't have your client's cell phone number. Um, their point of contact for anything that's related to the client should be you. Never get so comfortable, and this is something I had to learn. Never get so comfortable where you like, okay, you call the client when you have an issue, and you two guys work it out. No, that's not how you run a business. That's how you lose a client to a caregiver. That's how somebody, if they see that they don't need you anymore, or they're not even they're gonna say, why do I need this person if I'm dealing directly with the caregiver, and I have to do this stuff, and manage the caregiver sometimes. So that's another company, that's a potential violation. And then insubordination, just a lot of times you'll run into caregivers, and people's emotions run hot when certain things occur, or they don't think that that they're being treated fairly, or they might feel some kind of way about a specific thing, whatever it may be. They have to understand that it's your company, it's your business, and they work for you, and no disrespect will be tolerated. And you want to always remain positive and nice, and another trick that I learned is you want to sandwich the negative, meaning you want to say something nice, say what's wrong, and then follow it up with something nice again. You want to sandwich the negative. So you're not just beating a person down. You want to let them know that we really appreciate you. We're glad that you're working for our company. This particular thing here, the way you're coming across to the management or to a certain staff member or to another caregiver was kind of rude, and they just felt like they should be treated or talked to a little better. But again, you're doing a great job. We love to have you, and we want to work this out so we can keep on working together as employee employer, keep this relationship. So that's how you kind of sandwich the negative. And then you just want to also remember to create an environment of accountability. Everybody is accountable for the things that they should be doing. And again, this is a lot more easier when you have systems in place. When you have when an employee has a caregiver has a direct plan of action, goals and tasks to be done at each client's house. So you when you sign up a client, obviously you're getting a care plan, and what's what you're talking, you breaking down everything that client needs. And then what you do is we get a goal, like what's the goal here? What is the family's goal for this client? Is it for them to fix their diet, to get more exercise, move around more, um be more social, do more activities, whatever the goal is, whatever the goal may be. It might be a diet goal, whatever the goal may be. That now becomes the caregiver who goes there goal, and every day she should be conducting tasks and doing activities that are towards that end goal. And that's what keeps them accountable. That's what keeps that's what kind of tells you if the caregiver is doing the right thing, and if this caregiver is right for your company, because she's sticking to the task, she's documenting what she's done each day, and each activity and each task that she's done during the day, she is going towards that goal. And that right there is how we manage the accountability for our caregivers. I mean, that's just an example of it. Um, recruitment, you know, recruitment, how we recruit our caregivers is through multiple different websites and stuff like that, like Craigslist, Indeed. You go to different churches, local churches in your marketplace is a good way to recruit caregivers. Um, but going back to the beginning, while you're recruiting, when you're doing these interviews, we like to do group interviews before we do individual interviews. You're setting the standard up front. They're gonna your appearances is everything. So if you have a very like an unprofessional, unorganized appearance in the very beginning, like your paperwork isn't together, you don't have it like in nice neat folders and stacks, and a nice system of bringing them in, hiring them, all of this when you first get them, getting their information, how they got to, the directions that they get, how they receive the directions just to get to the location, like every step of the way, they're gauging your professionalism, and they're going to respond accordingly. If you talk with slang, the one thing I've learned, like if you talk with slang, they're going to talk with slang. If you talk, proper and professional, they're going to talk proper and professional. Even though a lot of us can go both ways, and it's cool. Sometimes it's cool to be hip and jiving, but that's not the place. And you definitely don't want to set that standard uh, for your new recruits, because they're gonna, again, they're gonna adjust to the culture. If that's the culture, they're gonna adjust to it, and they're gonna, do it. And then it's gonna happen when you don't want it to happen. Just because it's you and this person, and y'all may come from a similar background, and y'all have some things in common, that doesn't mean let your guard down and be less professional. And it's just, because this is going to have a long-term effect on your management, your ability to manage this person, and their response to your leadership, and to your, the standards that you create. So retention is another thing that's important. How do you retain and keep good employees? It's just by really just showing appreciation, putting them in challenging environments, holding them accountable, rewarding them, um, and allowing them to grow, giving them an opportunity to learn some new things, to to acquire new skills, and this allows them to feel good about themselves, and it makes them want to stay. As long as we're showing them appreciation, we're paying them the most we can. We're rewarding them for their good behavior. Not again, not always financially rewards. That's not even the top three reasons. Like when you look at like the data, what do caregivers mostly want from their employees as far as rewards? It's usually signs of appreciation from the employee. I mean, from you, the employer, and from the client. So um, don't hesitate to use these tools to keep your caregivers happy and keep them with you, especially the good caregivers. So there's also uh, a issue with termination. You're gonna be firing people at certain points. You're gonna have to um, let people go. So you but how does that work? You have to documentation. So every infraction, every time that they make a mistake, every time that that you have to talk to them or reprimand them, or pull them to the side or whatever it may be, you have to document this stuff. You can't just say, "Oh, okay, enough is enough. I'm done with you. You're fired." There has to be a formal way of documenting it. You got to be having creating documentations. You have to develop a file. You have to send a termination letter. Letting them know formally that they're no longer employed with your company. And you're gonna have to fire people. This business has a pretty high turnover rate, so you're gonna be dealing with a lot of different caregivers throughout the course of your business. And finally, like I said, documentation. You have to document everything from the good, the bad, the indifferent. You want to have documentations of the things that that happen. Incident reports. If something happens at a client's home while the caregiver is there, there has to be an incident report, whether small or basic, or to something very, like a fall or something very catastrophic, like a fall or somebody gets hurt. You have to document everything. So the book recommendation, the book recommendations that I have for you guys for the management skills is 1 Minute Manager and the E Myth. I would suggest reading both of those pieces, and take good notes. The 1 Minute Manager, I learned a lot from that book. I took a lot of notes. It was very simple to understand, and it's very, very like groundbreaking, simplified stuff on how to just become a good manager. And the E Myth talks about how to become a better business owner. He talks about like the technician versus the business owner. The technician is who we are in the beginning. We're doing everything. We're actually the one fixing all the problems in our company. We're building the company. So we're doing every position. We're the salesperson. We're the CEO. We're the CFO. We're the marketing department. We're the sales department. We're the human resources department. We're all of those things. But he talks about how it's important to, again, create systems and create, and start to delegate and hire people to help you. Even in the beginning, when you're doing all these tasks, you just want to you want to document to start preparing to hire. So when you are ready to hire, you have systems in place, and you just don't have somebody in the office. Y'all just looking at each other like, okay, what do we do? You got to have systems, and he talks about putting manuals in place and stuff like that. So that's the management skills that I feel like everyone should start working towards and building on. And next we're gonna cover the marketing skills. I need your phone because I can't see. There's not people calling. You got shit to do. So I'm gonna just use my computer. Marketing is very important, and it's a skill set. Just like management is a skill set. Managing people is a skill set. It's just not something you're going to just learn in everyday average life. You have to set out to develop these skills. Develop, better understand, how to get people to, to reach people with your business, with your message, how to get your message out there. And there's some skills that you have to develop. You have to understand the importance of expert positioning, becoming a media outlet your company is basically a media outlet for that specific target market. You want to be the you want to position yourself as an expert in the senior care community in your marketplace. That's your job. Like, how do you do that? How do you do that? You have to um, develop a message and a way to get that message out to the community. We use digital marketing, email, SMS, that's like text messaging, social media ads, Google ads, websites, search engine optimization. We use Google. Another thing that's important is Google and Facebook reviews. Like, how do people, you have to get people to, if you don't have any clients yet, and you in the beginning stages of developing your business, you have to have your friends and family go do reviews on your Google page and your Facebook page. I'm sure most of everyone has at least 50 followers on Facebook. You need to reach out to these people directly and say, hey, look, I need some Google reviews. I'm starting a business and I need people to, give me some reviews. They don't have to go into no crazy detail. Just say, hey, 5-star review. This is a great company. This is a great person to work with. And that's it. That's all they have to do. With email, you want to create an email newsletter that's going out every month. Who are you sending it to? When you build your meaningful, when you do your MRD, your meaningful relationship development, you're going to acquire a lot of information. You're going to get a lot of emails. You put these people into your email system. You could use Mailchimp. Mailchimp is a free email suite that allows you to create newsletters and different things within the email. So you can send out mass emails. It's free. SMS, send text messages. Certain people wouldn't mind hearing from you if you had an event or a presentation that you're going to give, or you got a new promotional or something that you're going to give to the senior community. That they wouldn't mind hearing about it via text. So you can send out mass text messages. I use Easy Texting, and it's a company called Easy Texting, or Callfire. Callfire is another one. You could do voice broadcasts. Video marketing. This is another way that I'm just kind of giving you some digital marketing ideas, where you can, spread your message, get your message out to the community. You could do videos, tell people about your business, tell your story, um, do, you could do anything in on video. Like, you just have to be creative. You have to think about some of the stuff. Look at what's out there and think how you could do similar stuff and just do it with your own twist. You have to learn how to do ads on social media, preferably Facebook and Instagram. You'll be surprised. Like, you say, oh, um, my these people who need help with their care with their parents, they're not on Facebook, they're not on social media. They are on social media. I just posted something on my business page. Just something I was, we look at we get a lot of content and data on what seniors are doing. Seniors are spending just as much time, or not even more, or not, if not more time on social media than millennials. And it's insane. You wouldn't even believe it, but they're there. So that means people 55 and older, 65, are using Facebook. And these are the people who need help with their parents, because if they're in their 50s and 60s, their parents are usually in their late 70s, 80s, and not, and up. So it's like, don't underestimate the power of social media. And then when you learn how to optimize it and do different targeting strategies, you'll be able to reach them directly. You can put in there that I only want women 65 and older in this county, or in this city, or this 20-mile radius. Like, that's it. It won't put it in front of nobody else. Women who are into uh, gardening and AARP. So, like, people with these different tags, uh, Facebook, only put it in front of these people. That's the power of Facebook. If you never knew why Facebook was free, they're free because you're giving them all the information that they need to sell ads to people who want to target you. That's it. That's the exchange. Instead of you paying for Facebook, you're giving them information so they can market, so they can tell the people to say, hey, look, I know somebody to fit your perfect target market. This is what they like. This is the music that they like. These are the movies that they watch. These are the products that they like. And then they go tell somebody like me, a business owner, okay, you want these kind of people? Here, boom. And you can create that exact target within, within Facebook and social media. So that's what it's all about. You have to learn this stuff. This is a skill. This is a marketing skill that you have to learn. And I mean, just in today's time and moving forward, you have to learn digital marketing. Like I said, email, social media ads, and then just social media posts. It doesn't always have to be paid, but you have to be posting. Search engine optimization. You have to learn how to get your website optimized so it can be higher on the so it can come up higher when people search your, looking for a home care service or private aid, private duty aid. Like these are stuff, uh, home health aid, senior needs help. These are stuff that the people are putting in the search engine in your neighborhood, in your marketplace, in your community, and you're not coming up because your search in your website isn't search engine optimized. You have to learn how to optimize your search your website so it'll go higher ranking on the on Google. Everybody goes to Google. Google and Facebook reviews very important. Reviews are very important. You have to be getting reviews. You have to be, you have people have to be coming to your page giving you 5-star reviews. It's just because you have to think about it. When I go, say like for instance, if I want to go to a new restaurant, if I'm in a new city, and I'm looking for a restaurant, I may be looking for a specific food or whatever. I'm going to go to Google and say, okay, what's available? And if they don't have no reviews, I'm not going because I mean they're not popular. And if they have a lot of negative reviews, I'm not going. So they're not good. But if they have 20, 35-star reviews, that's the one I want to choose. And them the ones Google gonna put at the top because these people, somebody took the time to come say, hey, this is a great place. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a patrons. The company was just smart enough to get people to go to their website and make reviews. And it's that simple. However you feel about it, that's just the nature of the beast, and that's what it is. And you have to learn. You have to get these develop these skills under what I consider marketing skills: expert positioning, digital marketing, and then offline marketing. What we like to do with offline marketing that's like non-digital, like not on the phones and computer and online. Offline stuff, we like to use bandit signs, do affordable elder care with a phone number on there, and we put those signs out on the streets. Different counties and cities have different rules. If your county is against it, then maybe you can't do it as often, or you got to pick them up. You put them out on Friday and pick them up on Sunday, so they never really see them. If your county doesn't mind putting them out, put them out, leave them out, put more out, spread them out. I'm not saying put a whole bunch in one little area because that's going to be a nuisance. But you spread them out throughout a county. Counties are big, so you can spread them out all over your county. You know, and this is one of the top ways that we get clients. Even still to this day, there's nothing that responds more than our signs because we put them on a highway. And I looked at a sign. I looked at some marketing research for a specific highway in my market one day, and they said 250,000 eyeballs are going to touch this sign, are going to see this sign. But they weren't talking about my street sign. They were talking about a sign that they were trying to sell, like a billboard sign. So when they said that, I'm like, I'm going to put my sign right here. You know what I mean? If they're saying that 250,000 people, a quarter million people, are going to see the sign every day by just driving and stopping here, we need to have a sign here as well. And that's the impact that a little street sign can do, because you're going to be able to reach a lot of people for a fairly low amount of money. And once they dial your number, you got them. Whether they leave a message or not, you're going to see that they're called. You're going to, return their call, and then they're going to go in your marketing funnel. Where you're going to start following up, trying to develop a relationship, and then to eventually get in there for a consultation, and hopefully close a client. That's bandit signs. Newsletters. You could be, newsletters is another way. So like we talked about the email newsletters in the digital marketing, but you could take that same email newsletter and put it in paper form, print it out, and send it to your MRDs, your meaningful relationship development list, if you don't have any clients yet. And then when you do start getting clients or just leads, people who give you their address, you may went on a consultation and they're still thinking about it. You could send them this information. You could send them a newsletter. What do you want to put in your newsletter? What's going on in the senior community, in your local marketplace, services that you offer. And then I always had like a main article that's like a value add. So like if it's the winter time, we'll have a article on how to stay safe, and how seniors can stay safe, and what you could do in and around your home to stay safe in case of extreme cold or snow or stuff like that. Or you can have something more uplifting, like some senior diets, some fun holiday diets to you know um, to share with them on your newsletter. But it's like all you have to do is go online and say um, seniors, and then you put a topic in there, and you're gonna get all these different articles that you could just take and put in your newsletter off the internet. I mean, you don't want to take, you don't want to do it verbatim, but you can, get some ideas from different articles and put together a nice newsletter. And then obviously another offline strategy is meaningful relationship development. I talked about that in the previous episode. So go back and listen to it if you haven't heard it. But it's just a great way to get into the marketplace, and make a really strong impact, and reach a lot of people, and potentially get some serious referrals coming in. And then you could do group presentations. Group presentations are we talk about those in the meaningful relationship development part, but then they could just be that's another just way to get your name and your story and your business out into the community, on its own. That could be a standalone strategy. Doing presentations, going to different um, adult daycare centers, asking, could you put on a presentation? Um, Assisted living facilities, nursing homes, anywhere where people gather, seniors gather, you can go, make contact with these people and say you want to do a free presentation, based on whatever topic you want to discuss. Just like with the newsletters, you just go find a topic, create out, put together a handout, that they can kind of follow along what you're talking about, brand it with all your information on there. You're not going up there to make a sales pitch. A sales pitch, you might go in there and talk about senior safety tips, or senior diet, or senior activities, senior exercise, different things. Or you could, like I said, you could have, somebody come in and present with you. It might be a dietitian who specializes in senior meals. It might be a fitness expert who can create a training program for seniors to stay active, and things like that. But it's no limit to the amount of topics you could discuss with seniors. You could do more fun stuff. You can set up an activity, arts and craft, painting, whatever you think you want to do. But this, you just whatever's consistent with your spirit and the things that you enjoy to do. You got to remember, seniors love this stuff too. They're just old and they just move slow. They love everything. They still have all the same interests we have. They just move a little slower. That's the difference. So, when you're thinking about group presentations and getting out into the marketplace with your business, think about that. Just remember that seniors are just like you. They're just older and they just move slower, but they still have the same interests. And that's pretty much it when it comes to marketing. And like I said, you don't just get this stuff overnight. You don't know this stuff. Unfortunately, they don't teach this majority of this stuff in high school. They don't teach the majority of this stuff in college. They don't even teach this stuff in college. They might just now be starting to teach like serious marketing strategies and implementations when it comes to on college campuses. Because I went to some schools. I have took some marketing courses at actual universities, and they were terrible. And it's like I could just like at this point, it's like it was just theory. If the professor or the person who's teaching it that has no experience in marketing, or whatever topic, they really can't tell you anything. They're just going off theory and books. So you have to, you know, be self-educated, and you just don't always want to learn as you go, because sometimes the market's not going to wait for you to figure it out. Sometimes you have to learn, prior to, and develop these skills through studying, reading, and places like this podcast. So the book recommendations for marketing skills is Contagious: Why Things Catch On. It's a great book by Jonah Berger. And Jab, 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 Right Hook: How to Tell Your Story in a Noisy Social Media World. In a Noisy Social World is another book, and that's by Gary V. I'm sure all the guys are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk. Uh, and Gary V. Great book, Jab, Jab, Right Hook. Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the Jab, 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 that's what he means is, if just to give you kind of a brief understanding of the title, is jab, jab, jab. The three jabs is basically you giving away stuff. You give, and then you ask. You're giving great content. You're giving, great presentations. You're giving great information. You're providing some kind of um value. You add some type of value up front before you even ask for somebody's business. So that's what he's going to kind of explain to you and talk about the importance of doing that, and how to do it in like he says, a noisy social media world. So that's a great book. Um, that's a great book for marketing. Two great books. And Contagious, you're gonna. That's probably one of the best books I've ever read. It's called Contagious. So you guys are gonna really love that as well. And the next two topics we're going to discuss in the next episode are going to be sales skills and money management skills. And we're going to have some great information there for you, and we're going to have some book recommendations. So we're going to end this podcast here, and what we'll do the next episode, it should be coming right behind this one. Where we'll be discussing those other topics, some sales skills, and some money management skills. And hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully you feel informed, and we look forward to bringing you some more great information. Thanks for visiting. Have a nice day, and peace.